Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Pineapple Podcast, where it's all about being tough on the outside, sweet on the inside, and wearing your crown of gratitude proudly. Today, we have Tom and Kush. These guys are pioneering experts in some of the most amazing strategies. At the forefront is really the land development space where they're looking to buy land, build properties, and build their wealth long term. They also do a lot on the multifamily space and always happy to help fellow investors learn about their journey and to help them along the way. Welcome, guys, to the Pineapple Podcast. So if you
Thank
want to
you. Glad to
introduce
be here.
yourself, yeah. So Kush, would you like to say a quick hello and let us know what the business is about?
Thank you, Mitch, for having us. Hi everybody. So, we started our journey from existing multifamily properties, and now we are diving into land development projects. Currently working on a 296 unit construction project. We just closed the land, and now we are working on the construction loan on that. So that
Interesting.
that is like
I want to interrupt you there. I mean, that's not an easy feat. 296 units. That is definitely something to worth pausing on to say, congratulations on that. I mean, that's a huge milestone for sure. So tell us a little bit about how did you end up getting into that sort of space as well?
Yeah, so we were buying properties, existing multifamily in New Brunswick, and we started building relationships with a lot of people there. So our focus was to grow in multifamily, but after COVID, the prices they got so high that our numbers stopped working. And
Right.
at that point, yeah, so we focused more onto stabilization of our existing portfolio and looking into other avenues, but still focusing on multifamily. And in that during that time, so one of our power team member, he connected us with the developer who has experience of 20 years doing construction of this large scale of projects. And we connected with him. So we found that him and us, we together can like a good team. So we decided to work together and started looking at projects. And this was a project that this is the second project actually that we're working with him. Um, but because this is already zoning approved and construction ready, so this is the first project now to do the construction. The other project is still in the development phase of getting zoning done.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely. Well, I love that, Congratulations on that as well, because building that team is really one of the key metrics for success. So, Tom, I just want to pull you in here because here's an interesting question. A lot of times, when couples work together, it's either they get really good together or they sometimes have sort of like, oh, I'm spending the whole day together. So as the guy in the deal, and I know your stories well, that you guys do an amazing job as a couple. What are the secrets that you have from the guy's perspective as to how you work as a couple, collaborating and building a real estate business?
Well, it's definitely a balancing act. We learned a lot in a short amount of time because it was also COVID. So we were we had our full-time jobs before we left those jobs, in addition to our real estate investment. All of it happening, you know, side by side at home without anyone else, just the two of us. So it was kind of an accelerated process of getting to know how we work together and what works and what doesn't work in terms of schedules, in terms of roles and responsibilities. Um, there's different. So we learned, which at first we kind of just did what whoever had time to do something in between our day jobs. Then we started to identify, okay, here are my strengths, here are Kush's strengths, and then here are items that we kind of maybe both are equally strong at. So then we, divided the roles and responsibilities, and kind of divide and conquer. And I mean, I think it is important to try to have, so to be perfectly honest, for 2 years straight, we took no vacation, no holidays, not Christmas, nothing. Every evening, every weekend, for 2 years straight, working our jobs as well as building our real estate portfolio, to be able to leave our day jobs. So there was no work-life balance whatsoever, and it was just everything we could manage to do, and burning out and everything. But since then, we're now putting in more of a structure where we have some couple time, we have some downtime, relaxing time built in, so that it's not just 100% the business from morning to night. And sometimes I'll do just an impromptu date night when we've had a particularly busy, or we like to call it now, productive stretch. We don't say busy, we're productive, so we've been extremely productive for quite a while. The moment we have a free moment, we'll just do a impromptu date night to just kind of get reconnect and have that couple time versus just you can easily just have every second of every day focused on the business, but obviously that's kind of not sustainable.
100%. I love you sharing that. Thank you so much, Tom, because a few things here. One is the eye opener, and this is what I often counsel people when I'm sort of coaching with them as well, is like, you can't just quit your job because you want to be a real estate investor. You got to bridge that over. So the fact that you're sharing that you had to do double duty for a few years in order to bring that together, I think that is brilliant. That's a great sharing for sure, because you're just validating the fact that this is what you have to do. You still have bills to pay, and whatever spare dollars you have, you keep pushing it into the real estate, because the more you can build up while you're working. And by the way, the banks love you when you're working because you got a T4, which shows steady income. That's what they love to see. Then you get to the point where the real estate is getting in the way, meaning that you've grown the revenue, you've grown the portfolio. Now you can say, okay, now I'm ready to slow down a bit, call quits on the 9 to 5 so that you can focus on the development side. So thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to sort of reinforce that point, because to me, it's one of the most important points for people coming into the space. Like, you got to have patience, you got to have perseverance, right? And that's a clear example of that. So jumping into the land development space, I mean, 296 doors is definitely a significant amount of development for sure. And Kush, like you said earlier, you were able to partner up with a developer. So you're not the expert, let's say, in the development, but you're definitely in the partnering. So for somebody who's looking at this and saying, okay, this is sounding to be somewhat complicated, or I don't know really where to go. As a newbie coming into the space, let's say you're probably in the space for a couple of years now, you've done the multifamily, or you're really trying to develop or get the scale. What's the sort of the things that you look for in a partnership? In this case, you've built the relationship with the developer. It means that you're probably on the financial side, right? Like that's probably where your strength is coming in. Mm-hmm. So how do you find these partners? How do you develop that relationship? Or what was your experience in doing it? Was it like several people, or you just happened to build a relationship over time with somebody that you reached a point where you say, now we can do this?
It is a very good question. Not easy to answer. So it happened organically in this case. We were looking for something to get into development. Some projects were coming our way, but then we had no experience in development. But we learned that the fastest way to move ahead and to scale is to bring in people who already come with that experience. Because if we start learning now and putting that pieces together, there are two things going to happen. Number one, we will be making handling more difficult, challenging situations which we don't have experience with.
Mhm.
Right? And then we'll have to learn along the way to find a solution for that. That can slow down everything. Second thing, that even to start ourselves, we would never be looking at 296 unit. We will be looking at, maybe let's start with 10, 20, 30 units, right?
Right.
Or even smaller. So that's the thing. So we learned, we took lots of training. We have a results coach as well. So we invest a lot in our own personal growth and our own decision making growth as well. So that's how we learned that it's better to partner with people. So when we got connected to our common connection with the developer, so we had the conversation that this is what we are good at, and we already knew that he's looking for partnering with somebody who can come with the strength of raising funds or have funds and net worth to qualify for the projects, and he comes with that experience. So the intention of the initial conversation was already in place in this particular scenario, because we already talked to our the common connection before that couple of times, that this is the direction we are looking to grow ahead. And he knew our existing portfolio and existing work, and so the number one way of making relationship, especially business one, is win-win scenarios.
Yes.
But that is not compromise. Many people mistake win-win as a compromise. It's more of like synergies. What is that you are looking for? What is that we are looking for? And let's find a common solution to that both can benefit with what they're looking for, rather than, okay, I want this, but how much you can compromise to do this, or I can compromise. So that is one distinction. When we go far into a relationship with somebody and partner with somebody, those are the things that we look for. And we look for their speed, their risk capability. So those has to match with us, but their expertise has to complement with us. So those
I
are the
love
few.
that. Yeah. So that's brilliant, because ultimately I love what you say. Win-win is not a compromise. You're 100% right. At the end of the day, there is a deal on the table, but more importantly, there's a relationship. And that's where win-win makes sense, because nobody's compromising against each other. The minute you go into that, 2 years, 3 years down the road, you're going to have regrets. And so the best way to avoid that is understand upfront that this is what I need to win and this is what the other person needs to win. Where do we sit with that? Does it make commercial sense? And then if it does, you make the agreement, and then you can focus on your strength again. A couple of things too that I loved you saying is, well, we don't have the experience and we probably would never start at this level. But now you're in a position where you bring your strength that complements the deal for the guy or the developer that has the experience to do this build. And let's face it, you can't do everything when you're at this level of development, because it's a full-time job just working on that whole development piece. You know, you have environmental, roads, permits, city approvals. There is so much that goes into that the day is gone. And then you need to get that funded until it's completed. So this is where you sit in your chair now and you're on the phone all day, working with people that are looking to grow their real estate business, either on the private lending side or do some investment, because they want to have a better than average earning. And I think that's one of the most important things that people need to also understand is when you sit in the chairs where you're sitting today, you're not asking for money. And I think a lot of people get the concept that they're asking for money. What you are doing is you're offering people with money the opportunity to earn more money in a space that allows them to grow and provide housing, earn better income for their family, and build relationships. What's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. You have put together that very beautifully. Exactly. So it's like we look for the opportunities that can help other people grow their wealth in long term. So for us, the difference is that we focus on long term projects, long term deals. So that's where when we are bringing people with us in partnerships or as any other role with us, so that's where we try to find out that how their goals will match our goals, kind of a thing.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. You were going to say.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, we're solving a problem by, providing housing. As I'm sure you know, there's a massive shortage of housing in Canada, 3.5 million homes and/or units and counting. And that's rapidly increasing with the immigration population increase each year. So, I feel like if you're in a business where you're solving a problem, the likeliness of that business continuing to be successful for many years into the future is extremely high. If you're not solving a problem, there could be a change to government regulations that, has a negative impact in future years, etc. But when you're solving a major problem that affects the whole society, the whole country, regulations and conditions for that business should become more favorable in the coming years. Hopefully, but it's more likely to be successful when you're really serving a need and solving a problem for other people. So I think that's kind of our goal. I mean, I guess sort of two goals is building our income and wealth and helping do that for our partners and investors. But then the other goal is really helping to fill that shortfall of housing in Canada and eventually in the US as well. It's one of the biggest, I guess, sort of dangers to the economy and to people's well-being in both Canada and the US, the shortage of housing. So by being able to build a successful wealth-building business that is solving that problem, I think we're contributing to society while also growing our business.
Yeah, no, you know what, Tom, that is an absolutely important thing to discuss because a lot of people are coming into the space. Sometimes they're trying to figure out strategy and stuff. But you know what? If you can find the right people that has the expertise in doing the development, because let's face it, it's quite technical. You can really partner up with people. But I think to your point as well is you're solving a major social problem. Now, I will plug into here that it would also be nice if the municipalities were to be much faster in giving out building permits.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
That would definitely help solve the problem. Because the intention behind the builders are so genuine in the sense that you're driving economy, you're putting jobs, you're getting so many things, and then you get faced with bureaucratic red tape because building permits don't really have an accountability system created. They're basically operating on their own with their own timelines, and sometimes they don't get the importance of what it is, which is why, again, another little bit of a plug is like you see the Ontario government now taking direct steps into approving accessory dwelling units, bypassing the building permit stage to get the development going. Because you're right, the government has announced over the next 10 years, they intend to bring approximately 500,000 people or new immigrants into the country to help grow and develop this community. The first thing they need is housing. So as an investor coming into the space, guys, understand what we're talking about here. There is a 10-year projection for a lot of people to need a lot of housing, and everybody can only do so much. And while we say 296 doors is a big development, we need significantly more. So there's room for people to come into the space. But one thing, I think, Coach, you said it well, you spend a lot of time and money educating yourself with various people and companies in order to get yourself well educated so that you can take on these challenges, right? Because real estate is a space where if done right, amazing things can happen. And if done wrong, you can be quite stressed out.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And it's like there is not even one strategy in real estate that will not lead to any problem or any situation where you have to find a solution. Even if you have taken trainings, even if you have mentor and coach, there will be a situation that you have to find a solution for, because how the things are changing, how the regulations are changing, and how people work. Like there's a human error, there are contractors, there is like building getting old, like there's so many factors involved. So the main important point at that thing at that time is like decision making, how you handle that situation, how you find what type of solution you put in there, right? And there can be many different ways to do it, not right or wrong. It's just that fits that particular scenario and time, because with the time the solution can be different. But 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 that's the thing. So every it's like a puzzle, pieces of puzzle you have to put in place. And if you have people with expertise and knowledge in your circle that you can reach out, that is very beneficial. Then you can talk to them, you can see how they solve those problems, and then you can re-strategize your situation.
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely brilliant. And, again, because we're focused on the development side or the land development side, a lot of questions that people always ask is, well, what do those numbers look like? Because you're purchasing land at a certain price, you have to have an approximate budget, timeline, and then what's the on complete value, right? So if you're willing to share for people to get a sense of why you would do this and how long you expect this development to take, so people can get a sense of what's at stake here, because, you're going to be making a purchase on the land. And what was roughly the purchase price on this property that you guys are into now?
So we bought the land at a huge discount. We bought it for 2.6 million, and it's a 13.5 acres of land. And we got it appraised. The appraisal value was 5.18, which is almost double, because of the connections that we had. And so there was a huge lift in the land appraised value, equity gain. So that was amazing. And
Money in the buy.
money in the buy.
That's right. You're making money in the buy. Yes. Okay, that's brilliant. So this is again, this is why you do what you do. Because like you say, it's not a simple transaction, but in the right deal with the right connections, money in the buy. So now you're at a better stage when you go to get the refinancing, or the lenders are looking at this. And then what's the approximate budget you guys estimate and timeline to complete the project?
Yeah, so the construction budget is $80 million. And, we have various funding options on the table. So depending on various scenarios, one could be kind of as quickly as it can reasonably be built. Another could be in 4 separate phases, because there are 4 physical buildings that make up this 296 unit development for, essentially identical 74 unit buildings. So, somewhere in the range of 3 to 5.5 years is the timeline over which we would be, drawing. Like, obviously we wouldn't get the 80 million upfront, but it would be
pretty expensive.
It's cost debilitating. So there would be some soft cost up front in the initial draw, and then each monthly draw would just cover the actual construction cost to date for each month. So it's a long process. It's a large project. There's a lot of moving parts because of the strength of our partnerships with our developer partner and with the builder and trades that he has years of experience successfully completing projects with. We're extremely confident. But there's certainly a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that can go wrong in terms of time delays, and we have a pretty good system in place for cost overruns with fixed price contracts, etc. Probably a bit too much to get into in the space of this call. So we're quite confident on cost not increasing in any substantial way, but there can still be time delays, which can certainly still have an impact. So it's like So there's a huge value lift after it's completed. And then of course there's, the monthly cash flow, thereafter. But you don't just snap your fingers and have those buildings go up. It is a lot of ongoing work from construction loan approval until the final building is completed and leased up. It's a huge effort, and various problems that will need to be solved along the way, and situations that will need to be analyzed along the way.
No, I absolutely love that. So basically, roughly 85 million plus soft costs on top of that. And then the on complete value, what is the estimated value of those properties once they're done, completed?
Yeah, so our conservative estimate based on low numbers for rental projections is 125 million.
125 million. So this is how you can grow and you can scale in real estate. The other beauty, and I want to mention this to our viewers as well, is because of this size of development, in this case, what you guys are leading on, there are opportunities always for people who would like to put money to work, right? Because they can get in touch with you, you can become a part of that. So now you're not just on the sidelines looking in. You're actually getting hands-on experience with your money, making money for you. And at the same time, you get to connect with people that are always willing to share ideas and how things work, as you're doing in this episode right now. So I absolutely love that. I think that's one of the most brilliant strategies that you can do. Congratulations on this opportunity, because I know that these are not easy to come by. And you got to really have the experience, the diligence, and the confidence in your partnerships to make it become a reality, So good on you for doing that, for sure. I guess at this point in time, probably I'd love to get an idea from both of you or either of you in terms of, as a newbie coming in, because again, a lot of people looking at these segments, they're looking to figure out themselves and whether real estate is really and truly something for them. And I often tell them they have to come in and they have to do some exploration, play with different strategies, till they find what's kind of connecting to them inside, so that when they wake up every day, they're excited about going and buying the building or managing the deal or whatever it is, So looking back at your own experience, and I love the fact that you were 9-to-5ers and then you decided to take the plunge. What would be a nice little guide or something to tell somebody so that they can know, look, I need to hold some patience here, and I need to work through the system in the first, let's say, 6 to 12 months before I could really get, as they say, get my mojo going,
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think from our experience, some things that we did, I guess you could say, sort of right from the beginning, was we didn't hesitate to spend quite a lot of money on education. So we took various training courses and every strategy you can imagine. And we just upon taking those training courses, we discussed amongst ourselves and felt, the one that resonated for us the most was actually existing multifamily at first. Now, of course, we've pivoted and evolved into land development, which we're extremely excited about, and was, a distant dream when we first started our investment journey just a few years ago. The other major thing that we did, in addition to I just can't emphasize enough. You have to spend money on yourself, on your personal development, professional development, real estate investment specific training. And
accountants and lawyers.
And lawyers and accountants, yeah.
We have spent a lot of money on them.
The best accountants and lawyers. And the other major thing is we partnered with a more experienced investor, and we were just providing the capital, the money partner, or capital partners. So we started with that, gained, sort of on the job experience with some multifamily properties, then did some on our own, then started being the managing or operating partner and raising funds from other investors. So I think a lot of people want to kind of just dive into bam, they've got themselves a multifamily property or a single family or a flip or Airbnb, whatever it is. And you can do that, but the chance of making mistakes or failure is significantly higher. I think that the ideal way to start would be take the appropriate training. Don't hesitate to pay for that. Hire the correct lawyers and accountants who have significant expertise specifically in real estate investing, and invest your money with someone who's been doing this for years. Learn from them, partner with them, and then you reach that level where you can confidently take on your own projects, and know how to solve the problems as they come up, and you can be successful and really take off quickly. I think that would be the best advice that I could give to anyone, is those two components, is partnering with someone else / investing with someone else before doing it on your own, and paying for the training and the power team members.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is a brilliant summary. I couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly the journey that a lot of the more successful investors, when you look back at their backstory, pretty much, sharing exactly what it is in terms of taking the investment in yourself is critical. And then implementation, and Kush, any last words or advice from on your side?
Well, I would say that when two things to add to what Tom said. Yes, when you take the education, that's important, but that is not the only thing that will help you grow, because it's just like when you go to school, but then when you go to work, it's different than school, right? It's not exactly same. In real world, there are different challenges, there are different things that you have to go through. You might have to educate yourself with few things. So the things in the world are economics, everything is changing faster than what we are learning around us. So taking action and working and going into those situations sooner is better. And if you can do that along with your education, that's the best thing to do. And always any paperwork, even if you get it from your training place, have your paperwork reviewed by your lawyer, pay the lawyer more money, and get all your paperwork and get some education from the lawyer and other legal things and tax things. These two things, if you're on top of these two things, other things will fall in place much easier and better when you scale.
Lovely. Thank you guys so much. Really informative, and again, exciting to see where you're taking your journey and building out this 296 doors. We got to do another segment when you're kind of having the buildings complete with some pictures as well. To our viewers again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, and notify button as we build out our community. Feel free to share this segment with anyone that you think would benefit from learning about land development. Remember, Kush and Tom, they're into the multifamily space, but the land development is new and exciting for them, and that's their focus, and you can also get involved with them. So we'll leave their website information there for you to connect. So guys, thanks you once again. Take care.
Thank you so much, Mitch, for having us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You take care.